now.
Hello, fellow DFT members. Over the past several weeks, a number of rumors have been circulating regarding the future of DPS as well as DFT. Unfortunately, we cannot respond to every single rumor that is floating out there. And when members have asked why we have not put more information on the DFT website, the answer is quite simple. There aren't a lot of new facts to put on the website, and we are not inclined to give out information that is speculative, based upon conjecture, or certainly in response to rumors. But here are some facts that we do wish to share with you. Fact: the EFM legislation has been passed and has been signed by the governor. Fiction: that this automatically means that the EFM will be able to use those expanded powers to eradicate the DFT collective bargaining agreement. That is simply not true. The fact of the matter is that what the legislation does allow is for the EFM to approach the union, whether it's DFT or any other union, to look at reviewing or changing any portion of a collective bargaining agreement. It does give the emergency financial manager, whether in Detroit or somewhere else, the authority to seek to terminate a provision within a collective bargaining agreement. But it's also important to note that the EFM does not have the final word. This is a process. Another rumor that is floating around is that all DFT members are going to be terminated. That is simply not true. We have a collective bargaining agreement, and even in the absence of one, for those employees, particularly those who are tenured, the law is clear that in order for you to terminate someone, you must take them through the termination process, which means that they are entitled to just cause through the establishment of due process. That has absolutely nothing to do with our collective bargaining agreement. That has more to do with the tenure law. For those who are non-tenured, we still believe that we would be able to raise a legitimate fight in the courts to challenge any attempt to terminate all DPS employees who were part of the DFT. But the fact of the matter is that that rumor simply is not true. One of the things that we have taken great strides to do is to keep this membership abreast of the factual information that directly or potentially indirectly impacts DFT members. I have implored this membership to please stop adhering to rumors that you hear in the street, regardless to who they come from. I think that we have bent over backwards. The Vice President and I, Mark O'Keefe, have bent over backwards to try and make sure that we kept factual, up-to-date information on the DFT website. And we will continue to do so. But in order for us to effectively represent this membership, we simply cannot continue to respond to every single rumor that our members bring to our attention. So I will say to you what I've said countless times before. Unless you hear it from me, or unless you hear it from Vice President Mark O'Keefe, please do not take it to be true. We know of Robert Bob's plan to charter up to 41 schools, and too many of our members are already taking that as a given. It is an option, it is a plan that he has presented that, quite frankly, I do not believe is educationally responsible, fiscally practical, or is morally justified. But even beyond that, there is no certainty that chartering agencies are going to be inclined to come in pretty much cold, not knowing the culture of DPS in totality, and certainly not with the individual schools, knowing how to craft an academic plan that would be suitable to the needs of the students that they would service. So to that end, we say simply wait and see what happens. We are constantly in contact with representatives from the district, and over the past 6 weeks, Vice President Mark O'Keefe and I, along with Patrick Falkeson, have made more than a dozen trips back and forth to Lansing, advocating not only for the children of the city of Detroit, but also for our DFT constituents. That is what we are responsible for doing. So we are not taking anything as a given. We look at our collective bargaining agreement as one that was negotiated in good faith, and we will exhaust every legal avenue available to us in order to make sure that the contractual rights of our members are not abrogated. Given the fact that this was negotiated with an emergency financial manager, we believe and our attorneys believe that this gives us an effective stance and a legitimate stance in defending any attempt to try and abrogate our collective bargaining rights. Let me remind everyone that this agreement was reached only 15 months ago. And when this agreement was reached, there were certain factors that were taken into consideration. The fact that healthcare costs do continue to rise, the fact that we did face continued declining enrollment in DPS. And so all of these were factors that the emergency financial manager was responsible for incorporating into these negotiations. And once we ratified that agreement, from his words, from his mouth, to our ears and to the ears of this community, was that this collective bargaining agreement would allow him to put the DPS on a path to fiscal solvency. What changed in the past 15 months, other than the fact that his powers were expanded? So I caution everyone once again to please do not subscribe to rumors. We will give you the factual information as it becomes available, either through a president's alert, a newsletter, and of course through our DFT website. Thank you very much for your time and your consideration.